What we do know is that a 911 call was placed at about 10 p.m. this evening and that this is the home of the Menendez family. Police spokesman will be giving a statement in about 30 minutes. From what we've been able to gather so far, the bodies of recording industry executive Jose Menendez and his wife Kitty were discovered by their two sons when the boys returned home tonight. One officer we spoke with said off the record that the couple may have been shot as many as 20 times, but department spokesmen aren't confirming that for the time being.
I don't think this is such a good place to talk. We said we go outside, huh? Go outside? Yeah. Go outside. I'd like to talk to you if you're up to it.
That'd be a good idea.
You're Lyle?
That's right.
Tell me what happened.
My brother and I, we went to a movie. We were going to meet some friends, but Eric forgot his ID.
It's driver's license?
No, fake ID. He's underage. So we figured we'd order some drinks, and we came back to pick it up. We found that.
Anybody see you at this movie you were at?
Batman, Century City. I'm sure someone did.
Shouldn't be any problem, then. You guys don't have any idea who might have wanted to do something like this to your parents?
My father's in the music business. He's,
There was some of the acts that he signed. He got them off drugs. I mean that was a big deal with my father. He didn't like drugs, and he kicked the dealers out. You know.
So you think one of these guys might have...
It's possible. You ought to check on it. There might have been, I don't know how you say it, organized, underworld organized crime connections.
Detective Arguello, do you have any leads?
I can't comment on that right now.
Is there a suspect?
Are we looking at another Manson here?
Pretty was shot 6 times.
Can't comment on that.
Come on, do you have a motive? Is there a motive involved here?
My God, did you see it out there?
Yeah.
So what do you have? I mean, what can I tell the reporters?
Tell them anything.
It's not a viable alternative.
And you figure it out.
Look, detective, I've got to give them something. What do we have?
We got 2 dead bodies.
Come in, please.
This really isn't what I want.
What you want? You don't even know what you want. That's why you're in the state that you're
I
in.
know that I don't want to be pawed over.
Oh, I really don't have time for this kind of nonsense. You heard about the murders last night?
I was on the radio.
You know who those people were?
He's in the record business or something.
My patient. Patients. It's plural. They're 2 sons. They're my patients.
No one is using the term execution. According to a copy of the medical examiner's report we've been able to see, that may be precisely what happened at the Beverly Hills home of record company executive Jose Menendez and his wife Kitty Sunday night.
This is the presidential. It's solid gold. I think you can safely say it's the ultimate watch.
I think you could say that. What do you think I could wear to the memorial service?
I don't know.
We'll take it. It's,
With tax, it will be slightly over $13,000.
of course. We'd also like to see something in stainless steel, you know, for everyday use. 2 of them. What did my father believe in? Let me read you a letter that he wrote me when I was away at school. I believe, he wrote, that both you and Eric make a difference. I believe that you will. I encourage you not to select the easy road. I urge you to walk with honor, regardless of the consequences, and to challenge yourself to excellence. My father believed in excellence. He believed in accomplishment. Show me what you can do. That was my father's creed. That was how he brought us up. To show him what we could do. And to believe in ourselves. And to know that great things are possible for a man daring enough to try. That's my father's legacy. And I will always be grateful to him for that. I loved him. I loved him very much. He was a great man. A great man.
I just want to thank all of you for coming. I think about my dad and my mom and what it would have been. Like my mom, she was just to see all of you here today. For her. Just thank you. Thank you.
Marcy, why don't you ride with us, okay?
Lyle, can I get a
Marcy, you said I would never be able to fill my father's shoes.
You make your own footsteps, Lyle. Don't be concerned with filling your father's shoes.
You don't understand. These are my father's shoes. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear.
I really liked it here.
No problem, kid brother. Move some of the stuff back. Sell the other place. Let somebody else clean the blood off the walls.
So have you decided where you're going?
UCLA, I guess. They have a great tennis program, and Dad kind of figured I wasn't going anywhere with the swimming, but I don't know.
I think you ought to go there. You know, take your mind off things.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, it's so unexpected that you don't have time for the usual reaction, and of course, it leaves me responsible for his state, Eric.
God, isn't that hard?
In a sense. On the other hand, I've been waiting so long to be in a position like this that this transition comes easy.
You buy the idea that it was a hit?
A mess like that? 2 in the head. It's not a mob hit.
Then what? Cult?
I don't know. What do you think?
Bloody enough, but that's about it.
So what does that leave? The kids?
The kids.
You know, you guys ought to call a maid service. Get this place cleaned up.
I could get some numbers from my mom. You guys should hire a couple. He can take care of the grounds.
I don't know.
Well, you don't know about the grounds, or you don't know if we need full-time help?
Both.
You guys still eating? I thought we were supposed to play at 10 o'clock.
We're not on standard time, buddy.
Can I get you anything, Craig?
Coffee, I guess. Maybe we can play some doubles.
Wow, why did you say we don't need any help?
Because we might not be staying, that's why, Eric. I don't think this place is right. It's too big, it's out of the way. I'm thinking maybe an apartment, condo.
Lyle, this is a great house.
Oh, he's sulking. But I like it here, Lyle. No. Place with a health club, tennis, pool. Nothing's decided, but I'm looking into it. Enjoy your tennis. And work on that forehand.
Did you get all that? Is he for real or what?
What are you talking about?
He hasn't decided he's gonna look into it. He's your brother, Eric, not your father.
Look, you don't know what you're talking about, so just shut up.
He's just taking over your life.
Shut up! All right, he's my brother. And I don't need you or anybody else questioning it. Is that clear?
I was thinking of selling the computer, and I think I heard that even if I erased the files, someone could get them back.
That's right. See, the way a file allocation table works?
All right, look, is there a way you can erase them so no one can get them back? No one can know they're ever there?
All you've got to do is tell me what you want erased.
Although police continue to trace the possibility that the brutal murders of record executive Jose Menendez and his wife Kitty in their Beverly Hills home was the work of organized crime, sources in the department admit they're coming up empty. According to these sources, the brutality of the killing seems inconsistent with a gangland hit.
You wanna get the hell off my property?
Keep rolling. We're just filing a story. You're Eric Menendez, aren't you?
Look, move the truck.
If you could answer a couple of questions.
No questions. Turn your cameras off.
Just a couple of questions, Mr. Menendez.
People are really sick, you know that? Really ghoulish. Don't you think I've suffered enough?
This ought to do it. In just a second, the program searches through erased files, active files, every inch of the disk. Wipes everything.
When you're done, can you fix it so no one knows you were here?
Lyle!
Up here.
There's some reporter out front.
I know, I saw them.
You just let him stand there?
He's just doing his job. What are you doing here?
Nothing. What are you doing here?
Just finishing up a few things.
It's done. Clean as a whistle.
I appreciate it. You'll take a check?
Sure.
I know this seems a bit odd, but...
Not at all. If there's anything else I can do.
There won't be. Wow, what's going on? Just making sure Dad hadn't started writing up any other wills.
Oh, did he?
We'll never know now, will we? Get it, let the machine get it.
I'm just gonna see who it is.
Suit yourself, you've got your own car.
This is 555-2380. No one is available to take your call now. Please leave a message at the tone.
Lyle or Eric, I was hoping to get you in. This is Dr. Oziel. I got your message. I wanted to offer my condolences, and if there's any way I can help, I know how hard all of this must be on you, and how much it could help you if you had someone to talk to. You've got my number. I wanted you to know I'm available.
It's an awesome view, huh? Awesome.
Yes. Took the word right out of my mouth. And of course, there is the health club. 2 pools, squash and tennis courts. Is there anything else I can show you?
You know what's the matter with you? You're drifting. You gotta pull yourself together.
Lyle, I'm fine.
You sure? Okay, I'll tell her we'll take the place.
No. Dr. Oziel called the house. Maybe you and me, we should go see him.
Why would we do that?
Just to get some things straightened out. I mean, he says after something like this.
We don't need that. We're not weak.
Well, I am. I can't get it out of my head.
And you think it helps to wallow. You need something to focus on. Maybe you ought to get serious with your tennis. I'll see what I can set up. Concentrate!
Lyle, I told Danny and Bob we were going to meet him at the theater. Where are you going?
Princeton.
I thought we weren't going to school. I already notified UCLA I wasn't enrolling.
I didn't say I was going to school. Princeton is a town, not just a university. There's more there.
Like what?
Opportunity. The point is, I wasn't joking. You just didn't take me seriously.
It's just kind of hard to imagine you running a restaurant, Lyle. You've never even boiled yourself an egg.
Frank Lloyd Wright wasn't a bricklayer. What's your point?
None. I don't have a point. I never do I? I'm sure you'll be a magnificent restaurateur. Really? I can hardly wait.
You don't have to. Watch. I would like to speak to you about climate. Coming? Worlds to conquer. Well, it's not just the brutality of it, of course. My dad was such an irreplaceable man. He had a kind of drive that was unique. He was a great man. He's my role model. He'll always be my role model.
A lot of our readers knew your father from when you lived here. They're concerned. They'll want to know how you're handling this tragedy.
There were initial hysterics. I mean, who would want to do this to our parents, you know? Then after that night was over, I sort of entered into my dad's sort of mode. Kind of an ESP sort of thing, you know? I just took over his position in the family.
Come on, Eric, we gotta do something.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, geez.
Craig, my whole life I've been doing something. So maybe I don't want to do anything right now.
All right, all right. Just take it easy.
You know, you're right. You're right. We gotta do something, right? Well, what would Dad say? Tennis. He'd probably suggest we go play some tennis.
Come on, Eric. I didn't...
What, you didn't mean tennis? Fine. Fine. What do you say we write a script, Craig? Well, I got a million ideas. Just take them down, Craig.
Let's go get something to eat.
You want to do something, we're going to write. What do you want to do? You want to do another murder?
All right, now, cut it out.
Oh, you're right. You're right. It's a bunch of crap, right? It's a bunch of fiction.
For God's sake.
I mean, what do we need fiction for when we have real murders? You know that, don't you? It's real murders. It's real murders, Craig.
Okay, take it easy.
Want to know what happened? Mom and Dad were in the TV room. Lyle was standing there with his gun. And he said, let's do it. He said, let's do it.
We're looking for a younger clientele. That's what these lights are for. That's what the new banquettes are for. That means a lighter menu. Quick. It's not eat till you're stuffed. It's light, quick, and healthy. So hard for people here in the East to understand. Forget fried, forget cream sauces.
Nouvelle cuisine, that kind of...
Ah, that's the idea. But you don't have to think French. I want originality. This isn't a French restaurant. It's not an Italian restaurant. Write me up a list of dishes and let me see it. I know you can do it. Talented man.
All right.
You advertise for waitresses?
I did. Coming.
Well, good morning. Just getting up?
I was supposed to meet you at the restaurant.
I know, but I finished practice early, so... Oh, Lyle. We're having quite a party, aren't we, huh?
Stop it. I hired them as waitresses.
What, and they just couldn't wait?
Clever. Very clever. They didn't have anywhere to stay. I slept on the couch.
Do you expect me to believe that?
That's up to you. Now, I'm going to get dressed and we can talk on the way to the airport.
The airport?
I'm going back to California.
You didn't tell me that.
I'm telling you now. That should be adequate.
I wish I had more to tell you. But so far, we haven't been able to turn up anything.
I guess that just happens sometimes, huh?
It does. I was hoping that maybe now that you have more chance to think about it, maybe you can remember something.
No, I really don't see how we can help you more than we have.
Any new information would help. I mean, anything you guys can think of.
I've been busy. I just got back from Princeton. I've started a business. If we had thought of anything before, we would have told you, wouldn't we?
You don't seem very interested.
I appreciate your concern, but I have a lot to do, sir.
More important than catching the man who killed your parents?
I understand where you're coming from. It would be great if whoever did this went to jail. But it doesn't really help us in any way, does it? Thank you.
You never driven a Porsche before, have you?
I have an Alpha, but you know that's just a piece of junk.
Nothing handles like a Porsche. There's nothing really comparable.
No, there isn't. You just do the paperwork, I'll write you a check.
Hello. Hi. It's Eric Menendez. Hi. I thought about what you said.
Of course. No. If that's the way you feel, then the sooner that we get together, the better. I'm not at the office. I had the calls forwarded. I can be there 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Eric, that's what I'm here for. You need to talk. I'm here. Don't worry about that. I'll meet you at the office as soon as you can make it. That was Eric. He's going to meet me at the office.
What for?
What for? What for? To tell me that he killed his parents, I assume. Eric?
Oh, thank God you're here.
He's not here yet?
Look, do me a favor. Don't leave. Wait here like you're waiting for one of the other doctors. If there's any trouble...
Trouble?
He killed 2 people, Judelon, so if you hear anything that sounds dangerous, you call the police. I better get back to my office. My life could depend on it, so I don't want you drifting off or fall... It's the elevator. Oh, I thought I heard the door. Come on in, Eric. She's waiting for another doctor there. I know how upset you are, but we'll have all the time we need to talk about this. Did you talk this over with your brother? Or did you decide to come here?
No, I mentioned to him that I was thinking about seeing you, but he didn't think it was a good idea. I can't sleep.
Are you having nightmares?
I keep waking up, and my dad's standing over me. He's all bloody. And he's just standing there staring at me. And I can make him go away. But if I try and go back to sleep, he comes back and I'm so sick of crying and Can we go outside or somewhere else besides here? You know we killed him, don't you?
Yes.
Perfect crime. It was awful. His body's just blood and skin. But I just kept shooting.
He was a very controlling man.
I want to write a book about my father. Somebody should write a book about him. He was a great man. Lyle's gonna kill me. He doesn't want me to talk about it.
You'll have to tell him that you did.
No,
You'll have to, Eric. He'll know that you talked to me. You can't hide anything.
Hello?
Lyle.
An appointment? We won't be long. I'm sorry.
bastard!
You're weak. That's what you are. You're no brother of mine. While I know...
You betrayed me! What the hell do you call it? I didn't betray you, I just...
You killed us. Don't you know that? You weak, whining, pathetic excuse!
Now what are we gonna do?
We have to kill him. You know that?
Wait a minute. I can't tell anyone what he said unless you threaten me. It's privileged, but not if you threaten me. That's not privileged.
You're not going to tell anyone, right?
I wouldn't do that. Why would I do that? I want to help you. I'm trying to help you.
The hell with all of you.
I mean, remember we had trouble with the Berkeleys? He helped us out.
So you just went and told them everything?
Well, I had to talk to somebody. I mean, I was going crazy. It's gonna be fine. It is. I'll just go see him a couple times and I'll be fine. Anyway, how's the restaurant? I think we got a chance to talk, man. You gonna go back soon?
No. I'm gonna stay and keep an eye on you.
Mr. Signorelli. All right. Really glad you could come. Really appreciate this. Come on. Let's find some place to talk. Wait, his friend, aren't you? What can you tell me about him? What's he like?
He's a nice guy. He's a terrific athlete. He's smart. I like him a lot. I don't know what to tell you.
How did he get along with his parents? Did they fight a lot?
I guess. I'm sure. I don't know.
Did you ever hear him say anything about wishing that his parents were dead? Or anything like that?
Look, I'm not sure what I should say. I mean, I didn't talk to my dad or a lawyer or anything.
What, are you under any apprehension that you're a suspect in this case, Mr. Signorelli?
No, of course
not.
not.
What would you need a lawyer for?
I didn't say I needed a lawyer. I don't know, okay? He's a friend of mine, that's all. I don't want to say anything to get a friend in trouble.
What kind of trouble?
Look, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. We're friends, that's all.
Friends, that's all. And friends do things together, no? Well, what kind of things did you do together?
I don't know. Tennis, swimming, we wrote scripts.
You wrote scripts?
Oh, one script, really, that's all.
What was it about?
Just a movie script.
What was it about, Mrs. Signorelli?
It was about a kid who kills his parents. Okay?
The patient exhibits no apprehension concerning the purchase of the shotguns, which he feels are untraceable because he used a false ID. Nevertheless, he seems, in general, to be in a deeply conflicted emotional state and has considerable difficulty expressing that conflict.
Aren't you going home tonight?
I haven't made up my mind.
Well, I'd really rather you didn't stay the night.
I wish you would be more positive about our relationship, Jidalan. These are not easy times. They're not easy at all. I'm in danger. You're in danger.
How can I be in danger? They don't even know who I am. Unless maybe they followed you here or something?
The patient's manner seems to be sullen and morose, which I attribute to the tension that he's been under, and from time to time,
He expresses sentiments of remorse.
I appreciate your coming, Lyle, and I know how you feel about your brother talking to me. I just want to assure you that you couldn't be more wrong.
That's not why you said you wanted to talk to me.
No, it's not. Look, I'm aware that you think I represent a danger to you, but the fact of the matter is you're a danger to me, and that danger has to be eliminated because I will not choose to live my life in fear.
Neither did my father.
But it seems to me that there is a way to eliminate that fear.
I doubt it.
I'm just going to turn that on. And I'd like you both to tell me in your own words exactly what happened the night your parents were killed.
You're crazy, you know that? Come on, Eric, let's go.
Look, what happens if the police break this case? Now, don't be in such a hurry. I can help you if you tell me what happened. Is there anyone else in a position to help you, like I can?
What are you talking about?
Well, look, let's examine the dynamics of this situation. What are we all afraid of? You're afraid that I might tell the police what I know, and I'm afraid that you might kill me to keep that from happening. And that's not exactly a baseless fear.
Get to the point.
Well, the point is, what's going to happen if you get caught?
Go to prison.
You're kidding yourself. You'll go to the gas chamber. But I think I can stop that from happening.
How?
Because I'm your therapist. Because my testimony could help you avoid a conviction on psychological grounds. And at the very least, it'll keep you out of the gas chamber.
On the catch is, this little recording you want us to make.
Well, so I feel safe, knowing that you know that if anything happens to me, this will become public, and we have to look after ourselves. Lyle, this tape protects me. It could protect you. And that sounds like a good proposition for all three of us. In the event that you ever come to trial, anything that you say or tell this machine could be helpful. Help mitigate.
Mr. Signorelli, may I help you?
I talked to my father and his lawyer. They said I should talk to you. He said Lyle was worried that there might have been another will. You know, his father might have changed the will or making changes. He checked his father's computer, but he couldn't find anything. Right? But he wasn't sure, so he hired a guy to come out to the house and erase everything.
Do you know who this guy was, the guy he hired?
No.
What else did he say?
He told me they shot them. He said Lyle handed him the gun, and they went in, and they ran into the room, and Lyle started shooting. He was shooting his father, and he looked at Eric and said, "Shoot, Mom." And he did.
Look, I am tired. I just want to go to bed. No, I don't want to take anything. I am just going to go to sleep, okay? No, it's not going to work. I don't want to see you. Why can't you just accept that?
It's all working?
Top of the line.
All right. Now, you know what you're gonna do, right?
You've been playing me, what, 2 years now? What do you think? Is my game getting any better?
Yeah. I used to beat you once in a while.
Exactly. Now we're just gonna find the right tournament. I'm ready.
Listen, Eric, I gotta tell you. The police called me in and they're asking a lot of questions.
You didn't say anything to him, did you?
Yeah, sure, right. I told them you killed your parents.
Well, you better not.
Did you?
No.
Open the door, Julian. I've got to talk to you. Open the door. I know what you're thinking. You want to go to the police. But you can't do that, Julian. You've got to listen to me. You can't do that. Julian, you'll be killed. And not by me. You'll be killed.
Got some good news for you. You ready?
Yeah.
Found a great tournament for you. Get your game back on track. It's in Israel.
Wow, I don't know. I mean, I thought I was ready,
It's the
but
best
maybe.
thing for you. You have a chance to get away for a little while. I'm giving this a lot of thought, Eric.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it's what I should do.
Good. I'll leave the day after tomorrow.
Can I please have the number for the Beverly Hills Police Department? Get me the Beverly Hills Police. As I'd like to speak to somebody about the Menendez murders, please.
Detective Arguello.
Eric and Lyle Menendez killed their parents. They confessed to the therapist, and he's got it all on tape. Can someone please come and get me?
Jerome O'Seal?
That's right.
I'm Detective Arguello. This is a warrant for all papers and records, including but not limited to audio tapes of your treatment of Joseph Lyle Menendez and Eric Galen Menendez.
Well, it is true. I do feel kind of funny putting it on the market. Doesn't make much sense holding on to it, does it? I just don't like it anymore. They did do a good job of cleaning up, though, didn't they? Anyway, I gotta go. All right, talk to you later.
Turn off the engine. Let's see your hands. Out of the car. Nice. Turn around. Hands up in the air.
Lyle Menendez, I'm placing you under arrest for the murder of Kitty and Jose Menendez. You have a right to remain silent. If you waive this right, anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Know who your brother is, Lyle?
Israel playing tournament.
All right, take everything out of your pockets and put it on the countertop, please.
What's this?
Something I need.
Well, what is it?
It's paste. I wear hairpiece.
Hey, guys. This guy's wearing a rug, man.
Eric Galen Menendez. Detective Arguello, you place under arrest for the murder of your parents. You have the right to remain silent. If you waive this right, anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
Lyle, we can't talk now. They're probably listening. Everything's gonna be okay. You believe what they're asking for? Lyle wears a rug.
You kidding, he's bald?
I don't know, thinning bald. The jail's got a regulation, no hair pieces. His lawyer's asking for permission for him to wear the rug in court, any public appearances.
And what's the regulation on that?
No one seems to know.
I'd say give it to him.
Well, makes me think it's not all gonna be this easy.
You've both been charged with 2 counts of murder. Both charges carry the special circumstances for which you could be sentenced to death. Eric Galen Menendez. How do you plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Joseph Lyle Menendez. To the charges in the amended indictment, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
Given the choice, would you rather be good or lucky?
I'd rather be done.
Remember the woman said, Oziel said, they said...
Oziel said, they said what?
Judalon Smith. She said that Dr. Oziel said that Lyle and Eric bought the guns in San Diego under an assumed name.
Well, sure, but what name? She didn't know that.
I do. Ray Arguello does. He went down to San Diego, gun shop to gun shop, and the second one he goes into, he finds a sales slip for 2 Mossbergs.
What are Mossbergs?
Shotguns, 2 of them, the Friday before the killings, in the name of Nicholas Mariner, who happens to have been Lyle's best friend from Princeton, who happens to have been working in a restaurant in New York City that whole weekend, who happens to tell Arguello when he calls that he lost his wallet the last time he saw Lyle.
Lester, that's incredible.
Yes.
She's never had a client go to the gas chamber yet.
She ever have clients who blew their parents' heads off with shotguns?
You don't know Leslie Abramson. Just watch. There she is.
Miss Abramson! Miss Abramson! Are you going to be able to keep this?
Leslie Abramson, attorney for Eric Menendez, refusing to comment on the appeals process that's been dragging on for almost a year and a half. At stake, whether a jury will ever hear the confessions Lyle and Eric Menendez allegedly made to Beverly Hills psychologist Jerome Oziel.
We've got Signorelli. Eric confessed to him we shot Mom and Dad, and he doesn't say anything, and maybe they played chess later that evening? That's a hell of a witness.
I don't know what we've got. They're gonna make that kid look awful on the cross.
What about the shrink?
Oh, he won't even talk to us until there's a ruling on the privilege, which will be at least 6 months.
And then an appeal if it goes against him. I don't know. It's just not coming together.
Yeah, what is it?
Excuse me, they told me I'd find Detective Arguello here.
Yeah, it's me.
My name's Gerald Bronstein. Lyle Menendez hired me to erase some files from his father's computer.
It's been 2 years now since Lyle and Eric Menendez were arrested for the shotgun murders of their parents in the TV room of their
years since Lyle and Eric Menendez
It's
were
been over
arrested
3
for the
years since
shotgun
Lyle
murders
and Eric
of their
Menendez were
parents.
arrested for the shotgun murders of their parents in the TV room of their Beverly Hills home. 3.5 years since the killings. Defense and prosecution alike await a Supreme Court ruling, expected any day now, on whether or not a supposed confession they made to psychologist L. Jerome Oziel can be introduced at the trial.
Are you surprised the court voiding the doctor-patient privilege?
Apparently threats were made. When a patient threatens a doctor, there's no privilege.
Did they confess to Oziel?
We haven't studied the doctor's notes. We just got the ruling. Now, if you'll excuse us, we've been waiting 3 years to read these notes.
Wait, now, let me ask you now, the court won't let you use the tapes of their session with the doctor. Is that a victory for the defense?
I wish we had the tape so the jury could hear what they said in their own voices, but we will have Dr. Oziel's testimony, and we believe that the doctor will be a very substantial witness.
When do you plan on using Oziel?
I can tell you quite clearly that I intend to attack the credibility of Dr. Oziel in every area known to man and God.
How do you plan to attack his credibility, please?
This is fantastic. They told him it was a perfect murder. They wanted to commit the perfect crime.
They only killed the mother because they couldn't find a way to kill him without killing her. This is incredible stuff.
And we've got his notes. He'll testify to what they said. It's just as good.
How the hell are they going to defend this?
On August 20th, 1989, Lyle and Eric Menendez killed their parents. Did they do it for money? They didn't do it for money. They didn't do it to commit the perfect crime. They didn't do it out of hatred. It was done out of fear.
What do you mean fear?
They were abused psychologically, physically, sexually.
These boys perceived that their parents were about to kill them. They reacted with pure panic, pure terror.
They killed in self-defense.
This is it. This is the big day. This is when it all happens. By 6 o'clock this morning, there was already a line out in front of the courthouse in Van Nuys where the trial of Lyle and Eric Menendez begins today. 2 juries have been selected, one to hear the evidence against each brother.
Pardon me? They shot my parents, my mom and my dad. Who shot who? My mom and my dad. They were shot? Yes. They were shot? Yes. No. Yes.
Now, in regards to Mr. Menendez, how many individual wounds did you document in your autopsy report?
6.
Now, this first wound that you documented, a wound to the back of the head, could you tell us about that?
That is a contact wound. The muzzle of the weapon was placed directly in contact with the body, in this case the scalp, so that the entire load of the shotgun shell pellets wadding entered the head. I also recovered pellets along with the wadding.
Referring now to the autopsy you performed on Mary Louise Menendez, your report indicates that you identified 10 separate areas of wounding. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, referring to Mrs. Menendez, beginning with wound number 1.
This is a shotgun wound to the head, particularly the left cheek. This is also a contact wound. The barrel of the gun was placed directly to the cheek of the deceased.
And on the afternoon of August 18, 1989, do you recall making a sale of 2 Mossberg 12-gauge shotguns?
Yes.
And did you require identification of the purchaser?
Yes, he presented a driver's license. The name on the license was Nick Mariner.
Mr. Mariner, did there come a time when you visited Lyle Menendez in his home?
Yes.
And could you tell us how that visit ended?
I was asked to leave.
By Lyle Menendez?
Yeah, by Lyle, yeah.
And after you left, did you notice that you had left something behind?
Yeah, I left my wallet.
Did you actually sell Rolex watches that day to these defendants?
Yes, I did. I sold them 3. The total of the sale came to $15,039.40.
And the person who bought this car, do you see him in the courtroom today?
At the defense table, in the blue sweater.
Indicating the defendant, Lyle Menendez. What specifically did Lyle Menendez say regarding wanting to see this penthouse?
They just wanted to see the largest unit that was available.
What was the sale price of that?
Of course, there is the $990,000.
2 pools, squash.
He said that they ran to the door, the TV room, and Lyle went up and put his shoulder up against the door on the right. Eric said he looked in, saw his parents sitting on the couch, and Lyle swung open the door and shot his father and looked at Eric and said, "Shoot, Mom."
Isn't it a fact, Mr. Signorelli, that when you first told this story to Detective Arguello, you told him that Eric did not shoot his mother when he walked into the room, that although his brother said, "Shoot, Mom," he couldn't do it?
That's correct.
And is that still what you're telling us was Eric's statement, or has that changed?
I believe that still is the statement.
Thank you.
There's a kind of opening night excitement here today as the state attempts to put the finishing touches on its case. If the lines for seats in the crowded courtroom were a bit longer than usual this morning, it's because the 2 juries will finally hear from Dr. L. Jerome Oziel, the Beverly Hills psychologist to whom the Menendez brothers allegedly confessed. The defense spent 3 years in court fighting to keep Dr. Oziel's testimony from being heard. Today, the jury will hear it.
I recall Eric talking at length about how, once the plan was formed, that it was impossible to alter the plan and still have it be perfect as a murder, to come off perfectly. And even though they had doubts as to whether it, in fact, was appropriate, whether it was reasonable, fair, whatever, to have the mother included in the murder plan. But still, they couldn't determine any other way to kill the father.
Did Eric Menendez specifically tell you that one of the reasons why he had to kill the mother is that she would be a potential witness?
Oh, objection to the leading, Your Honor.
Overruled. You may answer.
That's correct.
Did Eric Menendez describe to you, in particular, what it was that he was upset with his father about?
Well, basically that the father had just been completely dominating, controlling, impossible to please. They saw the father as someone who was pretty much impossible to live with.
Your Honor, I'd move to strike. It's not the defendant's words.
Overruled. The answer will stand.
Dr. Oziel, did there come a time when Lyle Menendez arrived at your office?
He did.
And could you please describe his demeanor when he came into your office?
He was extremely upset, threatened, threatening, menacing.
Menacing?
So I felt there was a strong threat to my life.
And did you tell either Lyle or Eric Menendez that you had this fear?
Yes, I did.
And what was the response?
From Lyle, he laughed.
And did either Lyle or Eric ever tell you he had been sexually abused?
No.
And did either of them ever tell you that he acted in self-defense?
No.
We'll take a short recess at this time. Both juries are excused. They should return to the courtroom in 20 minutes. Counsel, please remain. I have just a few remarks before we continue. The remark has to do with the conduct of counsel during the questioning of the witness. Specifically, that of Miss Abramson, and mugging to the audience during the testimony of the witness. If the prosecution would do the same during the testimony of one of your witnesses, how would you react to that?
As long as it wasn't in front of the jury, it wouldn't matter to me.
Well, counsel, the jury is right behind you and to your left.
The jury can't see what I'm doing.
I could see your eyes rolling when you're facing the witness.
The jury can't see that either.
There is a jury in the jury box that could easily see what you're doing. Now, is there some...
I will try.
No, not try. You will succeed in not mugging for the jury, not making faces to the audience. You will behave professionally. Is that clear?
Yes, of course. Did you ask your lover, Miss Judalon Smith, to come to your office on October 31st in order to eavesdrop on your therapy session with Eric and Lyle Menendez that day?
Actually, it was quite the contrary.
Well, can you answer that question, yes or no, Dr. Oziel?
I don't think I can.
You can't answer that? Did you ask her to be there?
No, I didn't.
Oh, there you go. Now, you knew Miss Smith quite intimately. How would you describe her mental condition? Would you describe her as a stable person?
No, I wouldn't.
And she sued you, didn't she?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Now, in fact, you told your unstable girlfriend details from your therapy session with Eric and Lyle Menendez. Isn't that right?
Would you like to ask me why?
No, I would like to ask you what I would like to ask you, and that is what I just asked you. Can you answer it?
Yes, I told her.
And isn't it true that one of the reasons for your testifying the way you did about threats from the defendants was to justify the fact that you told your unstable girlfriend patient secrets, and your license as a therapist was already on probation, and you were concerned about that?
Miss Abramson, I'm sure...
Is that what happened?
You can answer the question, sir.
No, that isn't what happened.
The defense may have scored a few points today, raising questions about the credibility of the state's key witness, but they still face an uphill fight, a fight literally for the lives of Lyle and Eric Menendez, who face the gas chamber for the shotgun slayings of their parents, a fight that won't be resolved until the defendants take the stand themselves and tell their side of the story.
Record, spelling your last name?
Joseph Lyle Menendez, Menendez.
Mr. Menendez, are you related to Eric Galen Menendez, who's seated here?
He's my brother.
And were your parents Mary Louise Menendez and Jose Menendez?
Yes.
Did you love your mom and dad?
Yes.
And on August 20th, 1989, did you and your brother Kill your mother and father?
Yes.
Did you kill them for money?
What's your answer?
No.
Did you kill them because you wanted to pay them back for the way they had treated you?
No.
Why did you kill your parents?
Because we were afraid. After sports practices, he would massage me. He would show me. He would fondle me and ask me to do the same to him.
And for how long did this happen?
Not too long. Began to change. It became more involved.
What do you mean, more involved?
Put me in the bathroom. It would, put me on my knees. It would guide me, all my movements. I would have oral sex with him.
At some point, did he do some other things to you?
He would use objects, toothbrush, some sort of shaving utensil, a brush.
And was there some point when he decided to use something besides the toothbrush?
Yes.
And what was it?
He raped me.
Did you cry?
Yes.
Did you bleed?
Yes.
Were you scared?
Very. Eric was crying. He was basically shaking. And I asked him what was the matter. He was just crying. And I told him, you can tell me, what is it? He told me things about his dad that were going on. Things like that happened to me, only they were still going on. I felt maybe he was going to try and kill himself. And I told my dad that I knew everything that was going on between him and Eric and that it had to stop.
And what did he say?
He said, what I do with my son is none of your business. And he said, I warn you, don't throw your life away. And he said, let me tell you what's going to happen. You're going back to Princeton, and your brother's going to UCLA like we planned, and we're going to forget this conversation ever took place.
And when he finished talking, what happened?
I interrupted him. He didn't get to finish talking. I swore. I told him that he was sick and that, no, he wasn't going to touch my brother again, and that I would tell everybody everything about him. I would tell the police, that I would tell the family. I was just out of control. And he leaned back and he said, we all make choices in life, son. Eric made his and you've made yours. And he just looked at me and he got up to leave.
What did you think?
I thought, oh my God, I just made it 100 times worse.
What did you think was going to happen?
I thought we were in danger. I thought he felt he had no choice.
But to what?
That he would kill us. And I spoke to my brother and he said, oh God, they're going to kill us. So we agreed we had to protect ourselves. We had to go get some guns.
Did you go to get guns?
We went to the store in Santa Monica, this Big Five. It's a sporting goods store. We went there to buy handguns that we could carry around. But we weren't able to do that because there was a waiting period for handguns. You had to wait 2 weeks.
And could you tell us what happened then?
Well, we drove around, talked about it. We drove down to San Diego. We bought shotguns there because there wasn't a waiting period for shotguns. And that was a Friday. And we tried to stay away from them all weekend. And Sunday night, we thought maybe we'd go out, because we'd be safe if we were out of the house. And we went to tell my parents that we're going to a movie. And my mom said no, that we couldn't go out.
What did you do?
Well, my dad sort of pushed her aside. He spoke to my brother and told him to go upstairs to his room and wait for him. And I said, no, you're not going to touch my brother. And he's just ignoring me, telling him to go upstairs and wait for him. And my mom said something to me about I had ruined the family. And they went into the den and they closed the doors.
What did you think was going to happen?
I thought they were going ahead with their plan to kill us.
Then?
Yes. So I ran upstairs and I said to Eric, it's happening, they're going to kill us.
And what did you do?
I got my gun.
And what did your brother do?
He got his and we ran.
Where did you go?
We ran to where he had the ammunition, which was in my brother's car.
Did you load your gun?
I did. And then we ran into the room, into the den, and we started firing. I don't know who was firing at who or what was going on. I was just, firing my gun.
And do you remember firing the very close shot at your father?
Yes.
And at some point, was your gun empty?
Yes. And I could see somebody moving, so I reloaded.
You reloaded? Is that yes?
Yes.
And what did you do after you reloaded?
I ran around and shot my mom.
And was that the last shot that was fired? Is that yes?
Yes. Yes.
There's no question in anyone's mind that Lyle Menendez, after 4 days of riveting testimony, has completely changed the tone of this trial. How he'll withstand cross-examination, that's what we'll find out today.
Mr. Menendez, you heard the tape played in this courtroom of your call to the police to 911?
Yes, I did.
And on that tape, you told the police you had just come home and found your parents. Is that correct?
I think I said someone killed my parents.
You were lying to them, weren't you?
Yes.
And they asked you a number of questions, and you were lying to them in your answers, weren't you?
Yes.
And you were crying, weren't you? You can hear yourself crying on the tape.
Yes.
You were lying while you were crying. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you love your parents, Mr. Menendez? Did you love your mother?
Yes.
When you placed the shotgun against her left cheek and you pulled the trigger, was that an act of love, Mr. Menendez?
Confusion, fear.
You were afraid of her at that point?
Yeah.
Where was your mother at this point?
She was... My memory's not that good on this. I think I remember she was, around the side of the coffee table.
And what was she doing?
In my mind, she was sneaking around the coffee table.
You just said your mother was sneaking. Is that correct? You just used that term, sneaking?
Yes.
And did you think she was going to do something sneaky to you when she was crawling behind that coffee table?
No.
Your mother wasn't sneaking, was she? She was trying to get away from being shot to death.
I don't know. I really don't.
Well, tell me, Mr. Menendez, what threat did your mother pose to you when you ran out of the room to reload?
Nothing that I can remember in my mind specifically.
And how many rounds did you put into your shotgun?
Just the one.
So what were you afraid of, Mr. Menendez? Were you afraid that your mother might live?
I don't know. I just think he's cute, and, well, I kind of feel sorry for him.
Thank you. Let's move over here. What about you? What brings you to the courthouse so early in the morning?
Well, Eric's going to testify, and I just wanted to be here to show my support. I mean, I haven't heard him, but I've been watching him on TV, and I don't know. He thinks he's sexy.
With the court's permission, Eric Menendez will be sedated when he takes the stand in his own defense. His emotional state is apparently quite tenuous, and the defense is afraid he won't be able to take the strain of testifying.
Eric Galen Menendez.
And your father would massage you?
Yes.
Like he massaged you when you were swimming?
Similar. He would have me strip off my clothes until I was just wearing my underwear.
And when you were 6 years old, did the massages change in character in any way?
Yes.
And what was the change?
He had me take off my underwear. And he would turn me over on my back. And he would massage my genitals.
Was he using his hands?
Yes.
At some point after that, did he start doing something else?
He would massage me with his mouth. He came into my room and he told me to kneel down on my bed. And I did. And then he came over to my bed and he threw me off the bed and told me to kneel on the floor. And I was real confused because he had just told me to get on my knees on the bed.
So did you kneel on the floor as he ordered you to do?
Yes.
Okay. What happened next?
He was unbuckling his pants and in some way, either by his hand on my head or by telling me, he told me what he wanted me to do.
And what was his demeanor? What was he like at this time?
He was rough and he was angry. And at one point I started screaming and I started saying, "Stop, it hurts, it hurts."
And did he stop?
No.
How did you react to this pain?
I just sort of died off. I just sort of left myself. I just pretended that it wasn't happening.
And how old were you when this happened?
I was 13.
Now, you got your guns, you and your brother. You loaded your guns. Why didn't you just wait for your father and mother to come out of the room?
Because I was thinking they were coming out. I only thought I had seconds. I thought that they were, that as soon as they came out of the room, I was going to die. So I had to get to that room before they came out.
And what would have happened if they came out?
Objection, speculation.
Overruled. You may answer.
I thought that they were going to take my gun. It was this stupidly big thing, and it was just, I thought that they were going to grab it. I remember thinking, they're going to get it, they're going to get this.
Now, after you went into the den, what do you remember happening?
I just remember firing.
Did you aim in any particular place?
Just right in front of me.
And what was in front of you?
I was right in front of a coffee table.
But what was in front of you?
A coffee table.
You came into the room. You moved to the coffee table. Am I not understanding what you're saying?
I was just firing as I came in the room. I just started firing.
In what direction?
In front of me.
And what was in front of you?
My parents.
I want to take you back to the Friday before your parents were killed, Mr. Menendez. Now, you testified that you and your brother decided to get guns. Did you discuss what kind of guns?
Not really, just any handguns.
At some point, did you decide where you were going to make this purchase?
Yes, and that's when we drove to the sporting goods store.
The Big Five store in Santa Monica?
Yes.
And you took a look at handguns?
Yes.
When you were looking at these guns, was your brother right there with you?
Yes, sir.
You weren't trying to hide anything?
No.
So he was right there with you at the counter looking at these handguns?
Yes.
Were they in a glass case or were they up on a wall?
They were in a glass case. It was it's a two-shelf container, I believe so, and there were the guns on top.
But at some point, you picked out a handgun that you thought was appropriate, right?
Yes. And that's when he told us that we had to, that there was some sort of waiting period.
Now, you're telling the truth about everything in this case, aren't you?
I'm telling the truth to the best I can.
And you wanted handguns so you could protect yourself. And you went to the Big Five store in Santa Monica to buy these handguns.
Definitely. Without a doubt, I did.
Mr. Menendez, did you know that Big Five stopped carrying handguns in March of 1986?
No, I don't know that. Mr. Koriyama, there were guns there, and we did look at them.
Does this appear to be the area of the coffee table that's shown in that photograph on the board?
Yes.
Can you see what that is that was next to your mother? The letters?
It's a registration and a parking registration from UCLA.
And in fact, it says UCLA there right on the card.
Yes.
Now, you testified that your mother was going to kill you that night, correct?
Yes.
And that's still your belief?
It's still my belief to this day.
Yes.
Well, if I knew that they didn't have any weapons when I walked in the room, I would not have walked in the room. But I don't know what my belief is to this day.
Now, if your mother had been planning to kill you, Mr. Menendez, why would she have been filling out your application for UCLA?
It's clear at this point that the defense is based on the mental condition or state of mind of the defendants at the time of the shootings. The law is clear that when the defense posits mental condition or state of mind, the prior therapeutic history of the defendants is admissible. Accordingly, I am reversing the California Supreme Court ruling in this case and will allow the jury to hear the tape recording of the defendant's December 11th, 1989 session with Dr. L. Jerome Oziel.
I really think that there just wasn't really a family.
And she was so drained from learning about my father's affair because I was listening in the next room, and for months and months I would have to listen to my mother crying in the house. And I still think my mom's death was a suicide. She had given us permission to please carry out her suicide. My father should be killed, there's no question. What he's doing is he's impossible to live with. It's almost that he raised us to be able to handle doing this thing and that we could deal with it. Because he trained us like basic training. There was no way I was going to make a decision to kill my mother without Eric's consent. I just let him sleep on it for a couple of days.
My mother and my father were two people that I loved. It doesn't matter what they were, what they actually were. And I understand why it was done, because...
That's it, you see. I think one of the biggest pains he has is that you miss having these people around. But I had a dog once, and I miss not having my dog around. If I can make such a gross analogy.
At the time the people of the state of California rested their case in chief, this was a murder trial. As soon as the defense began, it became anything but a murder trial. But I am here to tell you today that now you have to concentrate on the murders of Jose and Mary Louise Menendez. Lyle Menendez gets on the stand and he gives a stellar performance. He cries at the appropriate times. It's a great show. But keep in mind, it is the best defense Daddy's money could buy.
The defendants weren't the only ones who told you what Jose Menendez was like. We had his sisters, his brother-in-law, his friends, people who knew him. We had teachers and coaches. And I've made a list of words they used to describe him. He was belligerent, manipulative, powerful, rude, nasty, never satisfied, had a cut-you-to-shreds tone of voice, was aggressive, frightening, intimidating, cruel, harshest person ever met. He had to win. He was overbearing, confrontational, demeaning, abusive, sadistic, sarcastic, controlling, fake, secretive, demanding, cold, competitive, arrogant, angry, and belittling. How many people do you know would fit that description? And would you let them raise your child? After a lifetime of terror, these children were frightened. After a lifetime of threats, these children felt threatened. It may be hard for you to believe that these parents would have killed their children. But is it so hard to understand how these children believed that their parents would kill them? It is hard sometimes to look at pain, and we look away. We close our eyes in movies. We don't read the newspaper. We don't watch the news. I ask you now not to turn away from the pain and to see it for what it was and what it did to Lyle Menendez. I ask you to return a verdict of guilty of involuntary manslaughter.
For all the children who have been beaten within an inch of their lives, for all the children who have been scalded with hot water as punishment, who have been burned with cigarettes, who have been locked in rooms for days at a time, years at a time, and not fed, this defense is an offense. And for those children who got out of the house and made lives for themselves and became productive members of society, this defense is an offense.
The defendant and his brother viciously and mercilessly attacked their parents on the night of August 20th, 1989. The defense has been no less vicious and merciless to them in this trial. They have made obscene accusations, misleading claims, and outright lies about their parents, who cannot be here to defend themselves.
It's very easy to go to a crime scene of a homicide and take a lot of gruesome pictures and parade them in front of a jury. But where is the picture of Jose Menendez bending Eric over the footboard of his bed when the child is 12 years old so the father can now go all the way in spite of the child's screams? Well, there is such a picture. But unfortunately, it only exists in Eric's mind now. I'd ask you to indulge me and to indulge Eric as you're deliberating in this case, and to just try to conceive, because I can tell that some of you are very resistant to what I'm saying. I'm not blind and I'm not stupid, but you owe us as jurors one thing only, that you must entertain the possibility that we are telling the truth. And you must also try, however foreign to you it may be, to put yourself in Eric Menendez's shoes in order to understand if he did what he did for the reasons we say he did. And if we have raised, through our evidence, a reasonable doubt that malice was present, or a reasonable doubt as to whether or not they were acting in the heat of passion, or whether or not they were acting in fear, then they lose, we win, and it can be no more than manslaughter. Eric became my client 3.5 years ago. There's no way you can go back and share the experiences of a 19-year-old, which is what he was at the time, without getting more than somewhat professionally involved. And I admit to that. I admit to an enormous bias in favor of this client. In those early days, I was the only person he had. And I've had him in my hands for all this time. And now, I have to give him up to you. There really is good and evil in this world. There really is. There are really good people and bad people. And sadly enough, given where we are, Eric Menendez is a good person who did a bad thing. And you cannot judge the sinner by the sin alone, because you will never know what to call the sin unless you look at the person who did it.
All right. You've got 4 choices on each count. That is, each parent, the killing of each parent. We can find Mr. Eric Menendez guilty of first-degree murder, 1 or both counts, second-degree murder, 1 or 2 counts, voluntary manslaughter or involuntary manslaughter, 1 or both counts.
Or not guilty.
Yeah, well, you forget about that. He blew 2 people away.
Well, look, we can't find them not guilty. The judge made that very clear. I mean, they shot them, so they have to be guilty of something. So, let's start with first degree. How many think it was first degree?
What the hell is this? First-degree murder. Of course it was first-degree murder. They shot them.
After what those people did, I would have shot them myself. Manslaughter, how many votes? I would say we have a lot to talk about.
What do we know? We know the parents didn't have weapons. They weren't trying to kill him.
Lyle thought they were. That's what matters.
He says. Is there any reason we have to believe him?
He was on the stand almost 2 weeks. They cross-examined him like I never heard of anybody
right.
being cross-examined.
If he was lying, it would have come out. Of course he's lying.
You know that.
Yeah, I know that.
Beyond a reasonable doubt? No one could listen to all that testimony and not have doubts.
I don't. Look at this. Look what he did to them. That's murder. That's first-degree murder.
Take that down. We don't have to look at that.
You're saying Lyle wasn't abused. How can you say that?
He confessed to his therapist. How come he never mentioned it?
Well, would you tell about something like that? Raped and sodomized and everything else?
If I told someone I killed 2 people, I'd damn well tell him why.
I'm sick and tired of hearing that Eric shot them. We know he shot them. Why?
Oh, please.
Why? That's the question.
Who gives a damn why?
Listen to him. They all made up their minds before the trial was
Oh,
half
listen
over.
to you.
You're right.
That little bastard got up there and cried, and you all cried right along with him.
Real men don't cry? That's sick. That is just sick. Who does it remind you of? Jose.
You want premeditation? You heard it on that tape.
And who made that tape? Oziel. Do you trust that man?
I don't trust him, but he can work a tape recorder.
Listening. I'll tell you what I was listening to. Bam! Bam, 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 bam! How many shots they put in? I heard that. What? It just went over your head or something?
Certainly went over yours. Why does it take so many shots to kill 2 people? Because he panicked, like he said. After what that man did to him?
You don't know what he did?
I know what my father did. I know how it...
This ain't about your father.
I know an abused child when I see one. Eric Menendez was abused.
It has come to this court's attention that in spite of re-instruction to deliberate, this jury has come to a deadlock.
I give up. Let's, I don't know, split the difference. Look, I mean, the father abused him. We give you that. Manslaughter for the father, murder 1 for killing the mother.
No, we can't do this. That's not a verdict, it's a lie. None of us believe it. Do you think Lyle planned to kill his father?
He planned it all the way.
But you're gonna vote manslaughter. And you don't think he planned it, but you're gonna swear he did. You're gonna swear he planned
No, I'm
half
not.
of it.
One way or another, it was our job to end this thing, and we didn't do it. God help us.
Miss Norton, it will be of no use in resolving this insoluble deadlock. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your efforts.